Hello and welcome to Alicia Town's Yoga. Today's practice is all about working through the hips and getting some maybe sticky bits unstuck. So the first part of the practice is a little bit of myofascial release. So we will be using two of the myofascial balls, or you can use tennis balls, just anything of the same size. So if you don't have that, feel free to maybe skip forward into the practice part. But if you have tight hips, and especially if you're having some low back pain as well, this acupressure point can definitely benefit. Um, so yeah, let's get right to it. So no other props are really needed for this one, just the two myofascial balls or the tennis balls, um, and we'll get right to it. So we're going to start on our back, but before I go ahead and lie on back, I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of where we're going with this. So we're going to place one or each of the tennis balls right into the center of each butt cheek. So if you can imagine the butt cheek right in the center would be like your bullseye, that is where we're going for. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and lie on back. And you can feel free to keep your knees bent for this one, your feet planted. And then whenever you're ready, just go ahead and lift your hips. Place each of those balls right in the center point of each butt cheek there. Now, it might not feel much at first, but feel free to just kind of start to shift a little bit side to side. So feel free to even like play with your feet placement there. Maybe feet are a little bit wider than your hips. Maybe it feels better in your body to have your feet a little bit closer together. And sometimes it just feels even good just to move the pelvis in a circle. So not necessarily my whole hip side to side, but just move the pelvis in a circle, because just even making little micro adjustments in this myofascial release is very beneficial, and it can change sensation a lot. Now, feel free to have maybe just your hands on your belly, especially if this might be quite juicy for you, and if you just need to have that little bit of an anchor to help bring you down to your practice, especially if you're feeling a lot there. Now, this is called gallbladder 30, this acupressure point here. And feel free also maybe just to find stillness. So you don't have to keep moving. You can also just find some stillness. And you can experiment maybe by straightening out one leg, just see how that feels. Maybe straighten out both legs, totally up to you. Now, that's definitely going to bring on a lot more pressure. So it might not feel that great in your body. So you might need to come back to just bending the knees, planting your feet. But feel free to ultimately stay with a point that might feel a little bit of tenderness. Nothing painful, but just finding maybe that little bit of tenderness there. Something you can relax into, and we'll stay here for about a minute or two. Take a couple of deep breaths with this one as well. Some deep breaths. And just start to slow everything down. Relax into this. Using your exhales to keep relaxing and softening. Try not to hold ourselves up in the hips or anywhere else. We want to really just see if we can soften here. Maybe even closing your eyes. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to slowly just lift your hips and remove your balls to the side there. Bring your hips back down, and then go ahead and step your feet out wider, maybe towards the outer edges of your mat. We're going to just windshield wiper the knees side to side. So it doesn't have to be anything forceful, just a nice little rinse here side to side. Let's check in with our hips. A few more times side to side there. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to make our way to a tabletop position. So I like to just turn on my side, use my hand to bring you right up into a tabletop position. So feel free to have wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And just taking a moment to be on hands and knees. Let's make some hip circles here. So start to just move the hips around, move the pelvis around. Maybe starting counterclockwise at first, whatever feels intuitive. We'll do both sides, so don't worry about that. All right, now let's take a pause and then just start to make circles the opposite way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be isolated into the hips, so feel free to add the spine in as well. If the spine wants to start to move to help facilitate this movement, you don't have to be rigid with your movement there. And then let's slow things down, come back to our tabletop position. Start to bring the right knee in towards the chest, so the spine rounds. And then just sort of kicking that right foot out towards the side, opening up that right hip. Start to kick that right foot up towards the ceiling, and then bring that right knee back in towards your belly, spine rounds. And that's going to be our movement. So we're going to kick that right foot out towards the side again, open that right hip, then right foot towards the ceiling, bring it back in. So we're just going to find this sort of rounding movement or circling movement with the hip. But with you, it might feel, could feel a little bit wonky at first just to try to get that movement here. It definitely feels a little bit awkward in my body. And hey, that's okay. We just want to bring in some blood flow there to the hips. Maybe yours looks more of an oval shape. That's okay. It does not have to look a certain way. It doesn't even have to feel a certain way. It can be whatever it is. All right, bring that right knee back in towards the mat. Come back to your tabletop position. And then start to bring that left knee in, draw it in towards the chest, round the spine, and then kick that right foot out to the, kick the left foot out to the left side. Start to circle, bring the left foot, kick it up towards the ceiling, and then hug that left knee back in. So keep doing that, kicking it out to the side, circling, and really using your hands here as well as pillars just to kind of keeping you steady so you can really just focus on feeling that sensation through the hips. Keep circling there. Feeling into that movement, getting all of those sticky bits maybe unstuck or at least a little bit more smooth. A few more times there. Do this one more time and then go ahead and bring that left knee back in towards the mat. And then we're going to extend the right leg long down our mat here. So just have your toes engaged, just reaching through the toes. And then sweep that right foot out to the side, coming to a gate pose, but our hands are going to be on our mat here. Root down through that left hand, take an inhale, reach up to the right arm. And an exhale, thread it underneath the left arm, but not coming all the way down, just feeling enough into the inner right side of your thigh there. And then unraveling, take an inhale, reach up to that right arm. And an exhale to thread it on underneath the left arm. One more time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, thread it under. Inhale, reach up. Let's take a pause here. Look towards the front of your mat. Step that right foot forward, coming to more of a lizard lunge. That right arm is still extended up. And then an exhale, set that right hand down on your mat. So we're in this lizard lunge here. Nice long stance so we can let the pelvis sink down. So maybe even tuck the left toes under, let the left leg lengthen a little bit. Right foot can step out wide out to the side. Have that space there for your pelvis. So take an inhale here. And an exhale through the nose and just allow yourself to soften. Another deep inhale through the nose. And exhale to soften. And then start to shift your weight back into the hips. Sweep in that right knee. Let's come to an extended child's pose. Just reaching those arms forward, shifting back into the hips, maybe wiggling down into the hips as well. And just allowing your forehead to rest on the mat. Now, if this doesn't feel good on the arms, no worries. Maybe just wrapping your arms down by your side or placing one hand on top of the other. Whatever version of child's pose works best in your body. Few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, come back to a tabletop. So just come back to wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let me get myself adjusted here. And then start to extend the left leg long down in the mat. Again, just having the toes engaged. Couple of breaths there. And then start to sweep that left foot out to the left side, coming to this gate pose variation, but hands are down on the mat. Take an inhale, reach up to that left arm. And exhale, thread it under the right arm. But again, not coming all the way down, just stopping to where you feel that sensation through the inside of that left thigh. Inhale, reach up. And exhale to thread it under. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, thread it under. Inhale, reach up. And this time, just take a pause here, release the exhale, look towards the front of your mat, step that left foot forward, and keeping that left arm up, allow the pelvis to sink down, lengthen up through that right leg, and then set that left hand down on an exhale whenever you're ready, finding your lizard lunge on this side. So take those few moments to lengthen out that right leg, maybe tuck the toes under and find a little bit more length. Let the pelvis sink down. Inhale deeply through the nose. The long, slow exhale through the nose. Feel free, though, to maybe just shift around a little bit, especially if you're finding that there are some spots on this side that just might feel a little bit sticky or stuck. So feel free to kind of work that out there. Few more breaths. And then whenever you're ready, start to shift the weight back into the hips again. Sweep in that left knee. Let's find ourselves in a child's pose. Your variation, whatever works best for you with the arms. Maybe now you would like to have your arms rested down by your side. Maybe this time you would like to have your knees wide and your feet together. And just whatever version you find that works best, see if you can allow yourself to come back to your breath. And then take an inhale, come back to tabletop. And then just find a neutral tabletop again. Take an inhale to tuck the toes. And exhale, start to lift the knees, lift the hips, come to a downward facing dog. So from here in our down dog, feel free to pedal out the feet, making any movement here that feels useful in your body. What could be most helpful for you in your practice right now? Maybe that might be just finding stillness. Maybe you bend one knee and then bend the other knee. No worries if the heels don't touch. Mine certainly do not. And really rooting down through the hands also so you can find that length in the spine. And keeping a bend in the knees there. Back to your breath. Let's take an inhale, float the right leg up, bend that right knee, open that right hip. Nice strong arms, keeping you nice and steady. And come back to straightening that right leg. Take an inhale here, and an exhale. Bring that right knee to the chest, step that right foot forward. We're gonna take an inhale, stretch the arms all the way up, but we're gonna come to just this crescent lunge here. So feel free to keep a bend in both of those knees. My back heel is peeled up, and just really rooting down through that right foot, keeping me nice and steady here. A little bit of buoyancy through the hips. Knit the front ribs in, and tailbone is drawn down towards the mat. Go ahead and bring hands to heart center. Take a moment here for a few breaths. On your next inhale, go ahead and step that left foot forward to meet the right. Release the exhale, release your arms down by your side. Take an inhale, reach up. And exhale, soften the knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, find a flat back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant the hands, step back to a plank position. Feel free to lower the knees here. Take an exhale, come all the way down. Inhale to a baby cobra. Just lift the head and the chest. And exhale, release it down. Inhale, push up into the hands, come to tabletop briefly. Tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now again, feel free to come back to a little bit of movement or stillness. We'll be here just for a few breaths. Find some length in the spine and those knees. And whenever you're ready, start to take an inhale, flip the left leg up, bend that left knee and open that left hip. Grip is down towards your mat, gripping through the fingertips, really rooting down through those hands so you can feel the openness through the hips there. And then whenever you're ready, slowly come back to the three-legged dog, straighten that leg. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, bring that left knee towards left chest, step the left foot forward, and then inhale, stretch the arms all the way up to your crescent lunge. So now my right heel is peeled up. You can keep a bend in both of those knees. And then just reaching up towards the sky, let the side body lengthen. Tailbone reaches down towards your mat. Knit the front ribs in. Nice easy breath here. Bring hands to heart center. And just take a moment here to come back to your breath and feel down into the feet. And then on your next inhale, we're going to step the right foot forward to meet the left. Release the breath on the exhale. Release your arms down by your side. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and step your feet out wider than your hips distance apart. So you're going to angle out your toes, angle them out a little bit. Actually, let me go ahead and face you guys. So we're just going to angle the toes out a little bit. Heels are going to be pointed in. Bring your hands to your hips. Take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to slowly bend your knees and maybe start to bring hands to heart center, coming down to a squat. Now, if you do like to practice with blocks or maybe a certain prop in your squat, feel free to bring that right underneath of your sit bones there in your hips and enjoy a squat that way. Now, maybe your squat is more like this and you're not all the way down and it's more in a crouching position. That could work as well. So just find what works best in your body. Just meet your body where it's at right now. No worries. Come back to your breath. Maybe close down the eyes. And then whenever you're ready, start to release your hands back down towards your mat. Straighten out your legs. And then we're going to come to a ragdoll pose. So feet are still pretty wide. I'm in this nice, easy forward bend here. So my knees are bent. And I'm just going to start to reach for opposite elbows. Start to let your head be heavy. Maybe just sway a little bit side to side at first. But really allow your upper body to just drape over and be heavy. Release any tension from the jaw and the neck. And then feel free to find some stillness whenever you're ready. And just enjoying this ragdoll pose. You can even let your arms just kind of dangle if your body allows for that. I have short arms and legs, so it doesn't really work best for me, but maybe if you have longer legs, you can have your arms just kind of dangle there, and that can feel really nice. And so, whenever you're ready, we're going to start to come back to that squat. So, you can release your hands towards the mat if you would like, start to bend those knees, sink the hips down, and just coming back to your squat. So, you can bring hands to heart center again and just come right back to your breath, nice and easy. Whenever you're ready, let's release the hands down towards the mat and then just step back to a tabletop position. We're going to take a few cat and cows. So on an inhale, start to lower your belly, lift your chin. And exhale, push down into the hands, start to round your spine, chin to chest. Inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin and the gaze. Exhale, round your spine. Draw the navel in towards your spine, chin to chest. We'll do one more round each. So inhale, lower the belly, find your cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, find your cat pose. And then whenever you're ready, just meet me at a neutral tabletop. And then we'll make our way onto our back now. So feel free to come onto your back. Keep your feet planted, knees bent. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to hug in the right knee towards the chest. So just keeping that right knee hugged in towards the chest, you might want to extend the left leg long. And then draw that right knee over towards the right side, really opening up that right hip. And then bring that right knee back in towards center. If the left leg is straight, go ahead and bend the left leg and draw both knees in towards the chest. Maybe a little rock side to side. And then just set the left foot down, cross the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. And just coming to this more of a supine figure 4 here. Then now we're going to feel free to stay right here if this is enough sensation for you, or maybe picking up the left foot, start to interlace the fingers behind that left thigh. That will definitely bring more sensation to that right outer hip, maybe the hip flexor there. So feel free to find a version here that works best in your body right here, right now. See if you can relax here. Relax the shoulder blades against your mat as much as you can. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Soften the jaw and the sides of the neck. And then whenever you're ready, start to set the left foot down. Now we're going to take the right foot and start to bring it over towards the left side. Set that right foot down on the floor on the left side there. Now from here, my left arm is going to extend out to the side, and I'm just going to use my left fingers as a little kickstand for my right knee. So I'm just kind of using my left fingers to hold up my right knee. And I want to make sure that I still feel enough sensation along the outside of my right hip, but not going to my full range of motion. Now that left leg can stay, that left knee can stay bent, or maybe straighten it out a little bit. Totally up to you. Finding a position that you can relax into. That right arm can just be wherever. Maybe just take up space and have it out to the side there. Don't be afraid to take up space. This is your practice, your time. Don't ever be afraid to take up space anywhere. Come back to your breath. And just notice any sensations and ebb and flows of energy that might be traveling through the body. And now we're just going to transition our leg placement here. So we're just going to slowly lift the right foot, slide that right foot to stack on top of the left foot. Both knees are going to stack and we're going to find a supine twist. So now my left hand is free and I can just kind of have my arms out into a T, maybe placing on my abdomen or up into a V shape, whatever is vibing with you today. But whatever position that you have found, see if you can really relax the shoulders and just trying not to kind of scrunch up into the shoulders. Relax on back and unfurl here. Sometimes we still might tend to sort of grip onto certain areas of our body, maybe throughout our hips or the knees. So really relax here. And then whenever you're ready, just bring your arms down by your sides if they were up overhead. Start to lift one knee, your right knee, and then your left knee. Hug your knees into the chest. And maybe a little sway side to side, maybe a little circling of the knees. And then we'll keep this right knee hugged in towards the chest. Extend the right leg long down the mat. Open that left knee. So we're opening up this left hip. Just feeling that nice stretch, feeling that nice openness. No need to be forceful or go to your end of your range of motion. Just where you feel enough sensation there. Bring that left knee back to center and then take a moment to hug both knees in again. We're going to set that right foot down on the mat. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh and find this supine figure four again. Now again, feel free to stay right here. Maybe this is enough sensation for you. But if you're looking for a little bit more sensation, feel free to pick up that right foot, interlace the fingers behind your right thigh, and just right under the hamstrings. And it definitely brings more sensation, at least for me, along the outside of that left hip there. And so feel free to enjoy the stretch, really opening these hips and just enjoying this feeling. Now, if it becomes too much, no worries. Just feel free to lower that right foot at any point. Everything is optional. Keep a nice, slow, steady breath. Come back to just relaxing the neck and the jaw. Relax the shoulder blades the best you can. Some deep belly breaths. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to set that right foot down. We're going to pivot to the right side. So left foot is going to meet the floor. And then right arm is going to come out to a little cactus shape. So my right fingertips are just going to help support my left knee. So I don't want to like actively push up my left knee. I just want to have my right fingertips as a little kickstand. Left arm can be wherever is comfortable. And then the right leg again can just maybe straighten out a little bit, or maybe you like to keep a bend in that right knee. We're just feeling that stretch along the outside of the left hip now, maybe up into the front of the hip. Maybe scanning the body again and just seeing any areas that you can relax, release any tension. Let's take a few more breaths here. And then we're slowly just gonna shift our legs again on this side. So start to pick up that left foot and start to stack it on top of the right foot. Stack the knees on top of each other. Find your supine twist. And then again, any arm variation. So I'm gonna personally take my arms up overhead and just lengthen through the side body here. But keep everything relaxed. So let the shoulder blades relax. Belly is soft. Passive stretch for the hips. And then as we take some conscious breathing here in our twist, we're giving our internal organs a nice massage, using some diaphragmatic breathing to help massage the organs there. So taking a nice deep inhale and really fill up the belly. And a nice slow, long exhalation through the nose. We'll take a few more deep belly breaths here. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and lift your left knee and then your right knee, rolling onto your back. And then just taking a moment to hug the knees into the chest. And then let's extend both legs towards the sky and maybe just giving a nice little massage down the back of the legs. So it can just be squeezing down the legs, maybe even just patting, tapping all the way down the legs. Maybe circling the feet. Pointer flex the toes. And then let's start to bend the knees and reach for the big toes or the ankles, maybe even behind the knee pits. We're going to come to a happy baby here. So I'm actually going to reach just my ankles, my elbows are rested in my inner knees there. And I'm just going to find a happy baby, drawing the knees in towards the chest. And just finding stillness here. But if you're finding that you have a little bit of sticky bits in the hips and need to wiggle around to try to smooth that out, feel free to do that before you find your stillness. Allow the full length of your spine to relax into your mat. If you notice your tailbone wants to peel up off your mat, that's totally fine. Let that just be really passive and a nice happy baby stretch here through the hips. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to slowly draw the knees in, bring the knees in towards the chest, and then go ahead and set the feet down pretty wide, so wider than your hips distance apart. Maybe bring hands to belly as we windshield wiper the knees side to side. Just give the hips one more rinse, side to side there. It doesn't have to be anything too specific. And it can just be to your own rhythm of your breath if you would like, or it doesn't even have to be coordinated with your breath. Just enjoying this movement, this fluidity. And then let's come to a more neutral position where we can heel toe the feet in a little bit closer. Start to straighten out your legs. And then bring your arms out by your side here. And we're going to start to settle into a Shavasana. So feel free to stay in a corpse pose here, or if you have props and you know you like to practice in Shavasana with some lovely props, feel free to pause the video and grab any props that you would like. Let's find a position here that we can stay in for a couple of minutes, or even longer if you would like. Rest on back and start to relax your shoulder blades. Let your head be heavy against your mat or your support. Relax the muscles across your face, slightly parting the teeth, and let your jaw be slack. Notice the gentle rise and fall of the belly with your breath. Notice if you might be unintentionally gripping in the thighs or the glutes. See if you can relax a little bit. We tend to hold on to certain parts and just kind of anticipate on bracing ourselves for something. But right now we can just release, relax, and let go. Just noticing the effects of the practice. What about the quality of your breath? Maybe the breath is more smooth, less rigid. Maybe the mind is a little less scattered. And see if you can use your exhales to further relax and release. Release that tension in the body that you might be holding on to. Nice soothing breaths, inhaling through the nose. A long, slow exhale through the nose. Notice the natural cadence of your breath, the natural organic movement of your breath. And see if you can really expand the belly on your inhale. Let yourself follow through with a full exhalation. And the body and mind slowly shifting into a parasympathetic response, that rest and digest state. And continuing to breathe with deep belly breaths. And just noticing the ebb and flows. And whenever you're ready, start to bend your knees, plant your feet, and then slowly open your eyes, wiggle your fingers, and then rolling onto one side, use your hands to bring you into an upright position, and then just make your way to an easy seat. So let's find an easy seat here. Take a moment to close your eyes back down. Sit up nice and tall. Notice your breath. Notice the state of the mind and how you're feeling overall. And just check in with yourself. Noticing the leftover effects of the practice. Feeling grateful for this wonderful breath. So, to close out this practice, feel free to bring hands to heart center. Thank you for spending your time with me and practicing this. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.